Okay, I'm back for the impact video. My throat's feeling better. Got my voice back, so let's do it. Once again, Impact was another perfect example of why TNA needs a second weekly show, because there was way more content here than they could realistically fit into 2 hours. And unfortunately, that's when we get shows that try to cram so much stuff in that everything is rushed and almost nothing gets the right amount of time. And that's also when the writers start cutting corners in a desperate attempt to fit everything in. And stuff like cutting out the previously on Impact video, Abyss making his entrance while the opening pyro is still going off, Amazing Red's entrance being cut out entirely, cutting to a backstage segment while there's a match in progress. If you have to resort to things like that, like just to make enough time for everything, that's a sign that you have way too much content for one show, and the 2-hour deal was supposed to mean the end of crap like that. Anyway, this was a really problematic show. The stuff that was good was really good, and the stuff that was bad was just plain awful. Let's get to the bad stuff out of the way first, alright? To determine the number one contender for the X Division title, they had a match that was the latest installment on a list that's about as long as my arm at this point. It was Bashir and Kiyoshi, Lethal Consequences, and Amazing Red in yet another completely pointless 4-minute ladder match, which means that I am going to need something very important, except I'm not quite sure where I put it. Boy, this is embarrassing. Damn it, I know it's around here someplace. There it is. Excuse me 1 second. You know, I've gone on the ladder match rant so many times, there's just nothing else I can say. I mean, what I will say is that it's pretty damn stupid of TNA to advertise a 5-way ladder match for the number one contendership to the X Division title in commercials, and then only devote about 3 minutes and change to it. Cut to footage of Abyss walking around backstage during the match, thus proving how unimportant the match was, and then book it in such a way that the ladder only comes into play in one spot. One spot, that's it. Amazing Red was climbing the ladder, Creed caught him in a faceplant. That was the only time the ladder was used during the match, except when Red climbed it to get the contract at the end. What is the point? They could have had a better match without the ladder. Seriously, what is the freaking point? And also, what the hell were all these guys doing in a number one contendership match in the first place? Alright, Bashir and Kiyoshi, I can't even remember the last time either of those guys won a match. Lethal and Creed have barely been on TV for months, and when they have, they've been booked like jobbers. And then you have Amazing Red, who is freaking awesome, but he really hasn't been doing anything either. So what are these 5 guys who are all at the bottom of the ladder right now doing in a number one contendership match? Where the hell were Daniels and Suicide and Homicide and D'Angelo De Niro? They're the most prominent X Division guys besides Joe right now. They're the ones who should have been in this match. But instead you just threw the Job Squad in there. At least the right guy went over. I will say that much, alright? Amazing Red versus Samoa Joe next week, that is cool with me. If this is the start of a push for Amazing Red, I'm all for it. But TNA already kind of cut his balls off before the match started. They didn't even show his entrance. So Red is good enough to win the title shot, but he's not good enough to get his entrance shown on TV? What kind of sense does that make? Alright, let's talk about some good stuff. The Abyss Mick Foley segment that started the show was outstanding. The way this feud started, with the tweak and tweet picture getting broken, was kind of silly. But like I said, Mick Foley is a guy who can take something like that, turn it into something serious, and make it work. Both these guys were awesome on the mic here. Abyss saying, "You were my hero, you're the reason I became a wrestler, I was just trying to help you." And Foley having none of it, calling Abyss a second-rate mankind. And this whole segment was dynamite. It was emotional, intense. It was really personal. Abyss got the crowd behind him. Abyss freaking out afterward, and Lauren trying to calm him down, and that fight backstage later on was great too. But that's where it should have stopped. They should not have cut to Abyss during the ladder match. You should never, ever cut to a backstage segment when you got a match going on in the ring unless it has something to do with the match, which this didn't. But enough about the goddamn ladder match already. Alright, they set up a Knockouts tag team title match for Bound for Glory. I don't know why the beautiful people are getting a rematch when they got beat pretty easily and no surrender. But it's really the only match for Taylor and Sarita that makes sense right now. The segment itself was decent enough, I suppose. Velvet and Madison might have some mileage as a tag team, but honestly, the beautiful people without Angelina is like Destiny's Child without Beyonce. Alright, you can try all you want, but it just doesn't work. And you can throw Lacey Von Erich in there if you want to. I really don't think it's going to make a difference. Now, for those of you who've never seen Lacey wrestle before, she is really inexperienced and not very good at all. At least not the last time I saw her. So I don't think she's going to add anything to the beautiful people until she drastically improves her in-ring skills, which are probably Velvet Sky level at best. And if this is the best feud that the writers can come up with for Taylor and Sarita, then I worry that their title reign could end up being kind of boring, because they have no solid opponents they can feud with. Even though I'd much rather Alyssa Flash get that singles push against Hamada, the Alyssa-Daphne tag team is the only really viable option right now until they can establish some new teams that have a little more to offer than Velvet Sky and Madison Rayne. So the writers have a great team to build the division around, but that's it. That's all they've got. They really need to work on this because we're already starting to see the problems with this new tag team division that I basically predicted would happen. They rushed into it before they were ready to do it properly, and that's how you end up with Velvet Sky in a Bound for Glory match. Something I liked a lot was the stuff with Eric Young. I don't know about this World Elite feud with the Main Event Mafia because I don't think the World Elite have the star power to pull it off. But I like what they're doing with Eric Young here. I love how he keeps getting under Booker T's skin. How Booker keeps flying off the handle like an idiot and losing his temper while Eric just stands there and grins at him. It makes Eric Young look really cool and calculating, and it makes Booker T look like an immature dumbass who can't keep his temper under control. I like that. So, TNA, no more ladder matches for the love of Christ. And next week, please, 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 give Amazing Red and Samoa Joe some decent time before the inevitable Bobby Lashley interference. I don't think that's asking for too much. I'm out of here. See ya.